Hi. Please confirm if you can see my slides now. Confirm if you can see my slides now. A good evening, a good afternoon, a good morning. How are we doing today? What's happening? Right. So before we get all serious, I know we want to learn. I know we want to upskill and be intentional about that. So I think I'll just have to mute. I don't know who this is, but I'll just have to mute this person. Guys, I need more responses in the chat. I need a response. I've not seen anyone. How are we doing today? How was our day? What is happening? Can we give me, like, was today awesome for you? Or is it because since we are getting close to the ending of the year, there's a lot of pressure as regards closing out those values? I need responses in the chat, guys. I know I can see Daniel, Ahmed, Dambo, Baima. That's like the pronunciation of my surname. I can see Chinere, I can see Daniel, Emmanuel, Glory, Israel, Luke. Please, if I'm not pronouncing your name well, I am honestly sorry. All right, so I can see Taki, I can see Olamile Kon, I can see Oluwashino, I can see Opeyemi. Guys, I need more responses in the chat. It's just one person that has replied that today was a lot. Okay, before we get all serious in today's session, because today's session is more like an eye-opener. I want us to really focus and learn, even if, let's say, it's going to come off as complex or it's going to come off as a bit tricky. I want you to focus on the context of what's happening. Okay, because sometimes we have this opinion that, oh, it's Efemina, oh, it's Baima, they've been like doing this for a long time, it's Omawumi and all of that, and they're supposed to be good. But in today's session, we are going to have one of our consultants here at Amdari come show you a demo of what he has worked on, emphasizing on the fact that you have no option, right? You don't have a reason why you're still at the current state of your skill level, or there's still a gap in terms of knowledge. Okay, so guys, before we jump right in, I want to know, are we data scientists? Are we data analysts? Are we data engineers? Right now, I need our responses in the chat, because naturally, as a data professional, you need to first of all understand the problem that you are trying to solve. So in my scenario now, I need to understand the audience that we have on this call. So moving forward, we can now tailor the sessions that we have to better suit your needs, or better suit the fact that you need to upskill and close that knowledge gap. So I need responses in the chat, guys. Do I need to call our names out? Come on. What's happening? Or is it that I don't have a friend here on this call, and then we are naturally just beefing me? Oh my goodness. So I can see Steven says data engineer. I can see Ahmed says data scientist / data engineer. Wow, that's full stack. That's nice. I'm seeing, okay, Nick is saying aspiring data engineer. Moses is saying, oh, okay, he's a data analyst. So I can see Oluwashino that says data engineer. Guys, I need more responses in the chat. If you on this call, you cannot effectively provide me with this data, so now you expect that when you go out, people would freely give this data clean to you, right? I need your job description or your current skill level. Okay, Chinere is saying data engineer. I can see aspiring data scientists. I think you need to delete the aspiring out. So Israel is saying aspiring again, data analyst. I believe you need to own it. All right, it's just a process of acquiring that's upping your skill level. So I need more responses before we start the call officially, and we will be good to go. Okay, so coming back to my slides, I can see we have a lot of data engineers, then we have 2 data scientists, 2 data analysts. But let's enjoy the session that we have this evening. Coming to my slides, you can see streaming real-time data from the app using Apache Kafka, using Apache Spark and MongoDB. If you ask me what this means, I have no idea. I'm practically honest with you, but I'm joking though. But we're going to see a practical walkthrough of this, and we're going to demo this for you. And no, I'm not the one doing this. It is not Efemina. It is not one out of this world, 10 years or 20 years. No, years of experience individual. This is somebody that has gone through the process of trying to acquire this, that's trying to close up this gap in terms of what? In terms of skill level, in terms of expertise. So moving to my next slide, what we do at Amdari, if this is the very first time that you are hearing of the word Amdari, or this is not the first time you're joining a session, that's good. You've been following us, that's awesome. But if this is your very first time, the basis or the sole goal of what we do at Amdari is you are a data professional, you are a data analyst, a data engineer, HR, you're doing cybersecurity, you're doing product or project, and then you have learned, all right, you've gone through the foundational basics, you've learned how to use the various tools that you have in your stack. So probably you took a course, or let's say you went for a physical training, or you had a scholarship, or you did your master's, or all of that. So each of those options. So what we do as Amdari is we help you go up the level of being technically proficient. I hope you understand that. Yes, you have learned, but now in terms of you getting directly into the job market, those foundations that you've learned, they are good, they are okay, but that's why they are called foundations. You need to get to industry level experience, and that is where we come in at Amdari. We provide you access, we provide you a platform where you can what? Get access to these experiences, these projects, and a lot more offers, so you can close that knowledge gap. You see the way I am emphasizing on closing this knowledge gap. I say this all the time. It's a quote I have stored right in my notes. The difference between you and what you aspire to be, right, is the knowledge. It's knowledge that is missing. It's not a motivation. It's not me trying to push you, or no, it's just reality. If you can close that knowledge, you will be good to go. That's the simple truth. It's not that complex. And our vision here is to revolutionize the way people acquire industry knowledge and experience. And that's one of the reasons I'm very, very passionate about Amdari. Because when I was coming up, you would not see a platform or a repo where you'd have all of the projects. You have to sleep on YouTube, go to Stack Overflow, look at people's code, and then you'll be everywhere trying to learn a lot at the same time. And sometimes it gets overwhelming, way overwhelming. But now you have a platform that concentrates everything in one place, and you get access to just jump on, work on projects across diverse sectors, and you learn. So that is what we do at Amdari. Now, this is myself. I am the head of internships here at Amdari. I am a data scientist. Guys, I am not a data analyst, even if I can function as a data analyst. Yes, I am not a data engineer. Okay, if you recall, I mentioned that at the beginning of this call, we are bringing you somebody that has strived or that's closed that knowledge gap to demo the entire process of his projects today. Okay, so this is me, and I use myself as an example a lot. I have an undergraduate degree in structural engineering. So it's not as if I read computer science, or I read, the closest would be computer engineering, or I did an undergrad in data science. Trust me, then there was nothing like having an undergraduate degree in data science. Okay, so now if you have the opinion that, oh, I read economics or English or all of that, right? All you need to do is to close the knowledge gap and acquire what? Experience. So guys, before we proceed, are we with me, or we are way too excited to just get started with the session that we have? So we came to learn. Let's just get started and we are done. I need responses, guys. I need reactions. What's happening? I don't know. For some reason, I feel that we are dull today. I know somebody mentioned today was a lot. Was it a lot for all of us, or are we really going through a lot? All right. So let me proceed with my slides. And what we are doing today is very simple and straightforward. Okay, so we have a project presentation streaming real-time data that will be presented by one of our data engineering consultants. And the next thing would be your pathway to becoming technically competent. So I'm giving you a disclaimer now. When it comes up and when he's presenting, I don't want you to shout and say, what the hell? Where am I going to learn this one from? Where's this code coming from? I want you to just understand that the only difference between you and that person you think, or you assume, or you are trying to, or you're admiring or aspiring in quotes, that's from the comments we dropped in the chat, aspiring to be is what? Is in terms of what? The knowledge, the competency, and the skills that they have learned, the projects that they have worked on. Again, I say this all the time, the fastest way for you to acquire proficiency, right, in a short period of time is consistently working on projects. So number 3, we have a special offer to you, and then we'll have a Q&A section. So if you have questions as regards, oh, okay, what did you do? What are the stats that I use? Even me too, I have questions to ask because I'm a data scientist, so I am inquisitive. Okay, so if you have questions as regards, oh, what is this code? What is it doing? I have no idea. I want you to send in your questions to the chat and we'll take them, and I best believe he would provide you with answers. We have other professionals on the call that will do that also for you. So guys, are we ready? Are we excited? I need a 1 in the chat. I need a 1 in the chat. I need a 1 in the chat, guys. I don't know. I have a feeling that you guys on this call, they are just silently beefing me. Please, you have to prove to me that Florence is laughing. You have to prove to me that opinion from Brima is flawed. Her data is incorrect, right? She needs to get more information as regards the current status of the people we have on this call. So I need, oh, okay, I can see responses on the chat. That's from, thank you, Chinyere, thank you to Miwa, thank you, Taki, thank you, Adeniron, that's, okay, Adeniron, that's Daniel. So every other person on the chat, well, I have no words for you. So right about now, I would be welcoming Ahmed Ayodele. So Ahmed Ayodele is a data engineering consultant here at Amdari, and he'll be walking us through a detailed project that he has worked on. We can see the term, yes, streaming data from Reddit API to MongoDB in NoSQL database. So guys, at this point, I will be handing over to Ahmed. So hi Ahmed, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sure. Good evening.
All right, a good evening to you. So let me stop presenting and then you can share your screen. So once again, guys, if you have questions as regard, I am saying this as a disclaimer now. If he can do it, what's stopping you? Okay, so don't feel overwhelmed, just listen. All right, you don't need to code, you don't need to write anything, just listen and follow and you'll be good to go. So, all right, cheers and see you in a few.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know, can you see my screen?
Oh, yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, my name is Ahmed Ayodele, a data engineering intern with Amdari. So I'll be walking us through our project, which focuses on solving critical data challenge for Trendwave Marketing Agency by building a real-time streaming pipeline. Oh, yes, the business overview. So Trendwave Marketing is a digital marketing agency. For them to stay competitive, they need to get quick and accurate insight into what their customers are saying and are doing online. But right now, they can't keep up as their data keeps growing. Why is this? Due to insufficient data processing. The data takes too long to process. With this, they get late insight into the data. Disparate data set. The data is scattered, so it is hard to make any sense of their customers' behavior. Limited real-time analysis. They can't analyze trends in real time with this, so they miss many market opportunities. Then inability to scale. As much data comes in, their system can't keep up with the volume of data. This is where I come in as a data engineer. My job is to fix this. So I'll be building a real-time data pipeline that brings data into one place, and also it will be processed with tools like Apache Kafka and Apache Spark. And the data storage will also be scalable, so it can handle any volume of data. And this data will be stored on MongoDB, so we can analyze trends easily. The tech stack I'll be using is the GitHub, which is for version control and collaboration. I'll be using Apache Spark, which is used for big data processing. I'll be writing my code with Python, which is used for data analysis, visualization, and also machine learning. And I'll also be using Apache Kafka. This is used for real-time data streaming and processing. And also I'll be using MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database, which is used to store semi-structured data like JSON. And also the IDE I'll be using is VS Code. This is the system architecture. The Kafka producer will be taking the data from Redis API. In this case, Apache Spark will be acting as my Kafka consumer to take data from Kafka producer and be storing the data in MongoDB. All of these will be done inside of Docker. The thing is, before I actually continue, before I move on to the code, I don't want it to look like I'm actually performing magic. So I want to explain the structure of Apache Kafka. So Apache Kafka consists of 5 elements, which is the producer, the topic, the broker, the zookeeper, and the consumer. So I'll be using a scenario of the country. In the country, the producers, they are the citizens of the country. So let's imagine there's a pressing issues on ground, like an health issues. So these producers now, they will send this health issues to the government. This message are sent to the health ministry mailbox. Now, in this case, the health ministry mailbox here is the topic. It must have a name. And this topic, it will store all messages received from the producer. Now to the broker, this is the health minister. They are responsible for managing all health messages. In a Kafka system, you can have multiple brokers. You can have 1, you can have 3, depending on the workload, depending on your workload. Now to the zookeeper, this is the president. The zookeeper oversees the entire system. Now imagine a case where you have 3 brokers. If one fail, it is the duty of the zookeeper to assign a new broker, so we don't lose any messages. Now the last one, which is the consumer, these are public servants. They subscribe to the topic, and they also read the messages from the topic. So now I'll be moving on to the code. So the very first thing I did was to create my Docker Compose file, which will house all my services. So while creating the Docker Compose file, you have to make sure your Docker desktop is actually running. Currently, mine is running. This is it. So you have to create the Docker Compose file. So the services in my Docker Compose file consist of the zookeeper. This is going to manage and coordinate my broker, and it's going to run on port 2181, which is this. The next one, which is my Kafka broker, this will transfer messages between the producer and the consumer, and it's going to be running on port 1992. And my Kafka broker also depends on my zookeeper. Like I said, the zookeeper is the president. So if my zookeeper doesn't run, my Kafka will run. That's why I said it depends on the zookeeper here. The next one is the Kafka UI. This is a web interface. I'll be using this to monitor the Kafka topics and also my broker. It's running on port 8080. And the next one is the Spark Master, which I'll be using to process the stream data, running on 7077. And the next is my MongoDB, the NoSQL database. It'll be running on port 27017, which I'll be using to store the process data. And the next is my producer, which will send the data to Kafka. So after doing this, I'll be moving on to my producer, which is this. So in my producer file, the very first thing I did was to import my libraries. The very first library, which is the import pro, I'll be using it to interact with my Redis API. I'm using Confluent Kafka. So next one is import constant. So constant here is actually a file on my system here where I stored all my sensitive information, which is this. I don't want to expose it in my file, so I have it here. And next one is JSON, which is the Python library, which I'll be using to work with JSON. So yes, next step was to create my topic. So I created the topic and assigned it Redis topic. Then I also created my Kafka broker configuration, which I already passed in my Docker compose file. It's Kafka 1992. And I also wrote a callback function. Basically, what this callback function does is, if an error occurs during message delivery, it's going to, if the message is not delivered, it's going to throw back an error, which is this. But if the message is delivered successfully, it will print the Kafka topic and also the partition where the message is saved. So after this, I instantiated my producer, which is this. And next step was to instantiate the Reddit API where I passed in my parameters, the client ID, the client secret, and the user agent, which is this. So I was able to interact with the Reddit API, which is this. So after interacting with Reddit API, what do I need on Reddit API? I need some articles relating to topics, which I picked here, which is the Reddit or subreddit into politics. So after picking the topic I want, now I've got my data. Now what do I need from the data? I can't just take all the data from Reddit. I need to work with some data. What do I need? I need the ID, I need the body, I need the author, I need the created time, then I need the subreddit. So after getting all of this, I'll now send the data back to Kafka. So now which is this, the producer.produce. So I passed in my topic, which I created earlier, which is Reddit topic. Then I passed in a value. It's coming as a JSON file. If you look at it here, it's enclosed in this. This is a dictionary. It's enclosed in a dictionary. So it's already is a JSON. So I need to send my file to Kafka as a binary. That's why I'm actually encoding it in UTF-8. Then I produce my callback function also. So next step was to do my producer.poll. So basically what producer.poll does is, this ensures the callback function is triggered whenever every message is delivered. And after that, I now use my producer.flush. This ensures that in case I have a shutdown, it will ensure I don't lose any messages. So when I'm done with my producer, if you look at the system architecture very well, sorry, yeah, I'm meant to have a Kafka consumer, but in this case, I'm actually streaming data. So my Apache Spark here will now be my Kafka consumer. So I won't have a consumer file. So let's go to my Spark job. This is my Spark job here. So the very first thing was I had to import my libraries from PySpark library. The very first one is the Spark section. Next one is I imported from JSON and column from SQL function. Basically, what this from JSON does is I'll be using this.
Hi, Ahmed. Yes, I think we can only see your slides. We can only see your slides.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You can't see my code.
No. It just started. We can only see the slides, not your code now.
But can you see the code now?
Or is it just from my end? Oh, all right. So probably it's just from my end, but I can only see the slides.
Sorry.
Okay, it's back now.
Yeah, it's back. You can see the code.
Yes, we can. It's back now.
Okay, thank you very much. So sorry for that. Let me just start all over again. So this is my Spark job. So the very first thing I did was to import my Spark section library. The next one was from JSON and column. Basically, what this does is I'll be using this from JSON to pass this JSON file, and this column is just basically like an SQL function to pick columns. So I'll be using this to pick columns. Then the next one was to import my struct type, my struct field, my string type, and my double type. These are just data types. Like if I want my data to come as a string, that's right. That's the function this does. If I want my file to come as double type, which is float, this is what this does. Then next thing I had to do was to get my MongoDB URI, which I have to go to MongoDB website. I created a cluster, then I created the database. Then after doing this, it provides me a connector. So this is the connector, a connector parameter here, which is this. If you look at it very well, this is my username, and this is the password assigned to me here. This is the password assigned to me here. Then next is my DB, my database, which is my Reddit DB that is there. So after doing this, the next thing is to create a Spark section. So the name of my Spark section is Kafka to MongoDB, which is running on my Spark master. And also, this is my MongoDB connector and Kafka connector, which is this. this line here. So next step is to pass in my URI, which is passing into this place. Then I created my Spark section. So my Spark is working like that. So next thing is to define the schema for the Kafka message. If you look back into my producer, I said I want my data to come in form of the ID, body, author, created time, and subreddit. So if you this is it. So if you go back, so I said, okay, fine, this is my data. But now these are data type I want for my data. So for my ID, I want it to be in string type. No, this true means nulls are allowed. So next one is my body, which is string type. Nulls are allowed. The author, string type. Nulls are allowed. Then the created time, a double type. Nulls are allowed. And my also the subreddit, string type. Nulls are allowed. That's my schema. So so the next step is to read the data. So this is the topic I created. I created my producer, the Redis topic, and this is my Kafka Bootstrap server. So next thing is to read the stream. I'm reading the format of the stream is Kafka. I'm passing in my Kafka Bootstrap server here. I'm not subscribing to this topic, my Kafka topic that I created in my producer. This is the topic, Reddit topic. I'm subscribing to this topic, which is this. The next step is starting offset. So basically, when you are working with producers and consumer, so when you instantiate your producer, so the next thing is to see the message on your consumer. So you have an option of seeing the messages from the beginning or when the message started, or you have an option to see it at that moment where you are looking at the message. But looking at it now, so from this side now, I said starting offset, which is earliest, which means I want to see the very beginning of the message. But in case I put it as latest, so anytime I start my Spark job, I'll be picking up the message at that instance, but not from the beginning. Then I load. So the next step was for me to pass the Kafka message. Now, messages from Kafka that come in the form of binaries. But now I'll now be casting it as a string and also passing my schema here. I'm actually inferring my schema here. So it will be following this schema. Then I'm not giving it a new name, which is data. So next step is for me to write my stream to MongoDB. I created a function. So basically what this function does is the format is MongoDB. Then the mode is append. For every messages that come in, don't overwrite it. You only append it. Let's say 1, 2, 3. I have a message comes in the form of 1, 2, 3. Then 4, 5, 6 is coming in. It won't start from 1, 2, 3 again. You have to append the 4, 5, 6 to the 1, 2, 3. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this is my database, which I created earlier, RedditDB, which is this. So I'm passing it inside of this space. This is my database. So next thing is, in most SQL database, we have SQL, we have the database, we have the schemas, and we have the tables. But in the case of MongoDBs, we don't have tables, we have collections. So name of my collection here is comments. Then I save. So for every messages that come in, which is this, if one message is coming, I'm going to have batch 0 written successfully. So next one is a streaming message. So I'm having messages continuously. So next one is going to be batch 1 written successfully. Next one that comes in again is batch 2 written successfully till I stop it. So next step is to start my streaming job to MongoDB. So now this is my function. I'm not calling back my function here, which is write to MongoDB, which I did here. Then the output mode is append. You keep appending the data, then start. So next step is basically what this does is the query.await termination is to keep the streaming running. So this is all my code. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me before I start running the code. I don't know if anybody has any question.
All right, so I think you can proceed. So if they ask questions, they can either drop it in the chat or use the icon. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So I would open my terminal now. So the very first thing is I have to spin up my Docker. I have to make sure all my images are running. So which I'll be doing with Docker Compose up. So it's actually putting all my container. If you look at the Zookeeper, Spark Master, the MongoDB, the Kafka producer, everything is running. But in case I don't want them to work anymore, what I just have to do is I use Docker Compose down. So to confirm my containers are running, because most times if you might actually think you pulled your images and when it's running like this, you might think it's actually running. So to actually confirm your images are running, so you use the Docker PS. You run this. So let's confirm. So my Python producer is running, my Kafka UI is running, my Kafka is running, my Zookeeper is running, my MongoDB is running, my Spark Master is running. Very good. Now, so the next thing now is to run my producer. But before I run my producer, just a minute. I want to confirm my Kafka UI is running. So I said my Kafka UI is running on port 8080, which is this. So I'll be going to localhost for 8080. It's not up yet. Just a minute. Okay, it's coming up. So this is my Kafka UI. From this place now, I can actually monitor my Kafka topics and my sorry, what's it called? My broker. Now I would like to show something. So this is my broker. This is my topics. Now I would want to, I'm yet to spin my producer, so you can actually look at it. We don't have any message. This is one I've actually spinned before. So currently now we have 133 messages still there. But the very moment I spin my producer, the message keeps coming in. So which is what we're going to do now. So I would spin my producer, which is this. So I have to enter into the Docker container before I spin it. So I'll be using Docker exec. IT. So I'll be calling the container name, which is Python producer. Bin bash. So I'm in the root folder. So I will now be running it with Python, then calling the name of the file, which is producer.py. So let's wait. So yes, Python producer is delivering the topic. Is delivering the messages to my topic. My topic is the ready topic. So let's see. You can see. You see what I just said. These 263 messages. So let me click on this topic. 267. Can you see the message? It keeps increasing. So let's have an idea of the messages coming in. So let me this is a sample of the messages coming in. This is the ID, which is this. This is the body. Not sure how you can characterize dropped out before a single vote was cast as anything other than catastrophic. This is the author. This is the created UTC. This is the subreddit, which is politics. So I'll be going back. I don't have a consumer yet. I'm yet to spin any consumer. From 267 to 296, it keeps increasing. So now let me run my Spark job. So if I run my Spark job now, it's now going to take all these messages and take them to MongoDB. The message will keep coming in. So let me open a new terminal to run my Spark job. So the very first thing is I have to enter into my container, which is Docker. Is it? IT. I'll call the name of the container, which is Spark Master. So I'm the root directory about my Spark Master. So I'll now call the job Python, but it's inside the folder. So I'll call the name of the folder first, which is jobs. This is it. This is the folder here. It's actually inside of a folder, which is jobs. And next thing is the code name of the file, which is test_spark.py. Oh, I don't have Py4j. So Py4j. Sorry, just a minute. If Okay, so I can run the code. Python jobs test underscore spark py. So it's running. Okay, it's picking up the first message from the producer. So if you look at it, it's writing batch 0 to MongoDB. So once it completes this, it's going to pick next message. Batch 1, send this to MongoDB. So now let's go to MongoDB to confirm this data. So the red DB is already here. So if I open this DB here, I have my comment, which is the table. Sorry, I already have data here before, which is 14.866. But if I refresh it, 14.878. So the message keeps coming in. So this is my MongoDB, the NoSQL. This is the database. So if I refresh this, data keeps coming in. And if we want to, in case we pass this data to our data analyst, they can actually run queries on it by opening the MongoDB shell here. Let me just run one query. Sorry, TB.com. Okay, so these are the list of authors so far in the database. It keeps coming in. So thank you very much. This is the project. So if we have any questions, I don't know, the questions can keep coming in now.
All right, all right. So thank you very, very much, Ahmed. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. And yes, I believe he was using Python then. So let me just quickly share my screen and Ahmed would come back for all of the questions that we have. Let me do that now. Guys, confirm that you can see my screen. Confirm that my screen is up and then you can see my screen. Okay, so thank you very much, Taki. Guys, if you're on this call and this is you, right? Exactly. That's what Dambo is typing. So much code for a small process. And then you're like, geez, this is the expression right now. There's Kafka, there's producer, there's MongoDB, there's stream type. I need you to calm down. All right, I know it is a lot. I need you to calm down, right? Recall at the beginning of this call, I mentioned that the only difference is the fact that there's a knowledge gap that is missing, and you currently do not possess that knowledge gap. Okay, so guys, there's a link sent to the chat. All of the resources that you used in this section will be sent to you. And Ahmed can also share his GitHub link, and then you can view the projects and all of that. But there's one thing that I want you guys to notice as regards this knowledge gap. If we look at this report that was done, right, by the Migration Observatory Board at the University of Oxford, you would see that in terms of people that are migrating, coming to the healthcare sector, we have Africans, 29%. But in terms of what? Technology, information, and communication, we have just 6%. Guys, it's the same way you are seeing this code or you are seeing what he's doing and you're like, this is a lot. I don't know what to do. Where do I proceed? Where do I start from? The only reason why you are overwhelmed is because there is a knowledge gap. Emphasis of, I've been reiterating this because I need to understand that it's not just that there's so much code, it's so difficult, it's so complex. No, once you know it, you're good to go. And that is what we do here at Amdari. So you might be asking, where can we get this level of technical expertise? All right. Amdari is like your problem solver. It is like an all expense paid gift to you. That's how I describe Amdari when I'm talking to persons. Because coming up, I did not see a platform that had resources that I could use to get better or how to improve and all of that. And I'll be demoing this platform for you so you can go and sign up and then work on the projects also that we have there. Guys, what we do at Amdari, first of all, we have business partners that have issues with how they are structuring their databases, if they are migrating from, let's say, on-premise to a server, or they are streaming like what Ahmed demoed just now and all of that. So what do? We get this business problem that they are trying to solve from them. And then you as a professional working with us at Amdari, all right, you get to work on this project. You try to solve this problem using your expertise. Okay, and then during the process of solving this problem, these diverse problems across different industries, you get better. And not just in your technical skills, you would have to present your strategies, right? You have to collaborate in your teams. You'd have to, let's say, devise how you would approach the project, the steps you would use, the methodologies, and that. In that process, right, you would be getting proficient. Guys, I know the interesting thing. You would present this project, you learn how to communicate with stakeholders, and you can own this project, share it, add it to your portfolio. As we can see from what Ahmed did now, you can call him in his sleep, okay? And he knows how to do that because he worked on that project, okay? So he understands all of the processes, all right? Again, what we do at Amdari, right? Our internship experience program, we help you acquire what? We help you acquire proficiency. We help you acquire that technical expertise to fill up the knowledge gap that you have. Yes, you have learned the foundations, but you need to get better. So coming to my next slide. Yes, as a data engineer, you need to learn all of these stats. And you might be wondering, how best can I learn this at a goal? How can I do this? Recall, I also mentioned one of the fastest way when people come to me for advice as regards, okay, I want to do this, I have learned the basics and all of that. How do I proceed? My own advice to you, or rather to them, is always to do what? Work on projects. It's not that hard because when you get to work on projects, you would see specific problems to diverse use cases. You would have to research, you would have to read, you have to look up past methods that persons have used in solving this problem. And in all of that process, guys, you would be getting what? Better. Because you put yourself in the hotspot that you have to deliver for your team. All right. And you would be getting what? Proficient, guys. Now, what do we offer you at Amdari? Remember, I mentioned that we don't just give you the liberty to hone your technical skills. There's also the aspect of your employability skills. You might be wondering, why haven't I gotten a job, or why am I still in the current state? It is because you have not developed that technical competency. All right, so follow me closely at what we offer at Amdari, and I would be showing you our website so you can go there, because somebody sent me a message earlier this afternoon and he was like, he has learned the basics of data engineering and he doesn't want to come for a training and all of that. And I sent him the link that I need you to go to Amdari, just register, right, and work on the free projects that we have there. You would know the expertise that you develop. Then you would decide if this is your vision 2025. Okay, so we can see here, you would work on 6 to 8 real world industry projects. You would work with cross-functional teams, you would collaborate, you would have, in terms of your specialized LinkedIn optimization session, your CV review session, in terms of career coaching, and then, guys, you get access to a free portfolio. You get access to a reference letter from us, and then you get access to our job board. This is a game changer, guys. Just follow me closely. Let me share my screen, because seeing is believing. Guys, let me just share the screen and we would be good to go. All right. So if you go to Google and you search for Amdari, the first link that you would see, just click on it and then just register. All right. Now, on our platform, currently, if you're on this call and you were like, oh, what Ahmed is doing is out of this world, all you need to do when you register, I want you to get access to those free projects and work on them. Because when I click on data engineering now, all right, they are what? There are a ton of projects that you can work with to gain expertise, guys. Remember, what is differentiating you between here and the level you are trying to achieve is what? Is your own expertise. And also, remember I mentioned that naturally, if you want to, let's say, apply for a job, you'd have to, let's say, go to Indeed, go to LinkedIn, go to Glassdoor, and then you have to set up, let's say, alerts and apply to all of them individually. But what Amdari does for you, right? When you come to where this job board, just click on it. And then I come here and search for what? Data engineering. What do I see? What do I see, guys? You have the option to what? Check out each of the roles. And then I believe that from your LinkedIn or from your CV optimization sessions, you would have learned that when you see a job description, the first thing you need to do is what? Check out the details, then tailor your CV to be in sync with the details you have in that particular role, and then you apply. Guys, you can apply, or rather, you know that you are good fit for that role when what the skills you have, right, correlates with what? With what is on the JD. And the only way you acquire these skills is by what? Working on projects, guys. Then, what tops Amdari for me is this, my portfolio website. Guys, I believe we can see this. All right, I believe, okay, so I'm just having a bit of network lag, and if we can see this, can we see my screen? Can we see my screen? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Are we still on the call? All right. Awesome. So we have a job board that you can come and then search for jobs. You don't need to go through the stress of what? Individually going through what? In the, like specific job platforms. Then you have access to projects. Guys, the earlier you start advancing, I keep on emphasizing on this. The earlier you start working on projects, the earlier you start getting this competence in terms of diversity. That is how you go up the ladder. It's not that difficult. If I can call you to do a job and then I've seen past projects you've worked on, all right, I can give it to you. I have seen evidence that this is what you have done. This is your track record of working on diverse projects, and you are good to go. So coming back to my screen in terms of what? A portfolio. Naturally, if let's say you are in an interview session and they requested for a portfolio, and that was the point you decided that you wanted to build a portfolio, you'd have to consult the software guys, and then you pay for hosting, you pay for the frequent updates and all of that they would be giving you. But Amdari offers you what? A free portfolio by just filling in a form. So when you sign up for our program, you get access to what? Enter your details in terms of what? Your name, where you're located, your years of experience, the tools that you are proficient in, the project completed, your about section, guys. And these things, you would learn them in your employability session. So this is just a folder that is telling you, oh, I am available for hire. And you can list your projects. Okay, so the projects that you've worked on, if you want to include a link to your repo and all of that, and you can state your what? Your specializations, guys, all in one platform. The tools that you use, your skills, your experience, and your what? Your social media platforms. Guys, if I click on this now, let me just click on this and share this tab instead. What do you see? This is taking me to my LinkedIn page. Okay, and even this would take me to my Twitter. It's like having an hyperlink there. And what you need to do when they request for your portfolio, you just need to what? Click on this link, copy it and share it. So you can share it to hiring managers, you can share it to recruiters and all of that. I keep on emphasizing on the fact that this is an all-encompassing program that is tailored to help you get better. So all you need to do is to be intentional about what and be disciplined about going through the project and all of the programs that we offer. And guys, all of this is slated or it is embedded in our internship experience program. Before I proceed, are we good? Is Amdari going to solve a problem for us? I need our responses in chat, guys. Are we following me? Are we good to go? I know we are still thinking about the questions that we have for Ahmed and all of the code that he was opening and being overwhelmed and all of that, but I need you to calm down. All right? Just understand that is what is the skill difference. That's the gap that you need to close up, that you need to do, that you need to fill up. Okay, so coming back to my slides, if you go to Google and you search for Amdari, the first thing that you'd see, click on it. You'd see gain work experience by working on real world projects. So coming here, I just want to click on Rave by Amdari, guys. Rave by Amdari. When I scroll down, what does rave rather mean? This is a remote apprenticeship virtual experience program. And then guys, just follow me closely. When I click on register now, and I scroll all the way down, we offer different options, but the very one that I want to click on is a data engineering career experience internship. So I'm just going to scroll down. Guys, you've learned data engineering. You've gone through the basics, the foundations in understanding the whole ETL pipeline and all of that. But you need to gain proficiency. You need to gain technical competency. So what we do is we offer you, go to our business partners, we get projects or problems that they are trying to solve, and you as what, an intern, and we don't just call you intern because you are registered for our data engineering career experience internship. No, when we send you your contract, you are working with us as a data engineering consultant, like we saw Ahmed in the earlier minutes of the call. All right, so during your internship, you get access to all of the employability skills and the projects and the collaborative frameworks that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so you have learned the basic. What you need to do now is hone what? Hone the skills, right, to get better. So you can see, all you need to do is to just click on this. When you come to our platform, come to Rave by Amdari and select the data engineering career experience, guys, and you get an overview of the tools and the stacks that you would be going through during your internship experience with us. And trust me, you can't tell me that you won't get better. All right, so except if you decide not to be serious with learning, and then we are going to be intentional about making that happen, guys. So coming back to my slide, let me just share my slide and we'll have Ahmed back in case we have questions to answer. Okay, so guys, we run a remote apprenticeship virtual experience program. What you need to do is come register with us, and then we would provide you with real-world experience projects that you would work on. You would collaborate with your own team members. You guys would dive. Trust me, it is awesome when you're working with a team, right? So you have like a central repo, everybody has their task, and then we are all contributing. Everybody is making their own PRO, and we are working towards the final goal of the project. That is more fun, in quotes, and you will learn faster that way because you would meet what, diverse persons from different time zones and different stages of their learning journey. Okay, so guys, we have a cohort starting on the 7th of January 2025. So if you are currently here and you are a data engineer, you've gone through the foundations, emphasis on the foundations of data engineering. So at Amdari, we don't do beginners, let me put it that way. All right, so I'm just transitioning into tech. What we can do is during our one-on-one clarity sessions, we'll have a conversation as our experts. They will have a conversation with you as to how you can proceed, the steps you need to do to take, or the career path that you should proceed with. Our main focus at Amdari is helping you close up that gap in your proficiency level by working on real-world projects, by interacting with our experts, by going through our LinkedIn, our employability sessions, and by intentionally applying for the jobs that we are offering you in our job board. So yes, we offer other internship experiences as regards data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics, cybersecurity, project management, and business analysis. But this session was tailored towards what? Data engineering. So you would see that you have a lot to cover in terms of your skill level. And you need to sit up and then be intentional about what? Closing that gap. And guys, initially, we had a deadline for registration for the 15th of December, but because of the emails that we've gotten as regards extension and all of that, we are running this. That's our new intake for the 7th of January, right? Closes on the 22nd of December. I believe that would be Sunday or the Monday of next week. Okay, so now we are running this discount for the first 10 persons. And instead of you to pay $400, that's for the international experience, or 400,000 naira for the Nigerian experience, as when you want to sign up with us as a data engineering consultant, we're giving you a 25% discount off, and all you need to do is pay $300 or 300,000 naira. And if you are currently on this call and you are also unsure of what to do, or if you want to stick with data engineering, or you have further questions that you would want a private environment to communicate, that we have a one-on-one clarity session. So my colleague Tomiwa has been sending a link to the chat. All you need to do, click on it and ensure that you fill the form, and then indicate if you would want a one-on-one clarity session. It's called a clarity session, so we can speak to you and understand, what are your strategies? What do you want to do for 2025? And how can we help you attain proficiency? Okay, so guys, are we still with me? Are we still on the call? For some reason, we are just extremely quiet this night. Is it because of the code? Oh my goodness, is it because of the code or what Ahmed did? I need more responses from us. Is it because of the code that we saw and then we are like, oh my God, right? How do I go through this? So there's a comment in the chat that says so much code for a small process. Trust me, it's not that deep. Once there's like a foundational understanding, all right, and then in terms of what the projects that you've worked on and in terms of collaboration, guys, you would get better. All right, so do we have any questions? Are we good? Are we interested in signing up for Amdari, or do we believe Amdari is solving a problem for us? Okay, so guys, I need us to respond. I need us to send a message to the chat. Do we have questions? Because if you don't ask questions, I won't be able to understand or get your perspective of what's happening. So do we have questions? Are we good? Are we signing up for Amdari? Are we getting intentional about being competent? Guys, what's happening? Do we have questions for myself or for Ahmed before we call it a day? So Ahmed, you can join me back here. So in case there are persons on the call that would have questions as regards the code that you were writing, that they had no idea. What you were doing.
Basically, there's nothing in the code.
Oh my goodness. And then there's somebody shouting in the DM that, what is this? Well, that's lovely to hear. That's lovely to hear. So, yeah, go on.
So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm here to answer any. I'm here to take all your questions.
Oh, all right. So guys, do we have any question? I can see Abiola, Victoria, Olarinwon, Daniel, Emmanuel, Felix, John, Peter, Jimo, and SN. Okay, there are a lot more persons, but are we good? If we don't have questions, it means that we perfectly understand what to do and we are coming to the end of this session. So guys, do we have questions? Yeah, there's nothing in the code, big boy. Absolutely. And then you can have this same bragging rights. All right. I know that we are overwhelmed, but you just need to gain expertise. Okay, so Abiola, that's Abiola Amzat. Let's have your hands. Let's have your question. Your hands are up. Or you could type it in the chat if you really don't want to speak. Okay, so probably that was a mistake, but Abiola, in case you have questions, guys, in case you have questions before we call it a day, and again, we have this discount running till the 22nd of December. And you know, there's this opinion of us always setting resolutions for 2025 without being intentional about taking the steps to achieving those resolutions. So this is you what? This is you deciding that I will be intentional and you taking the necessary steps to becoming proficient or to becoming technically competent in 2025. So I didn't do that, Abiola. But if you could send a message in the chat.
Abiola, you can mute yourself now. Unmute yourself
Okay.
now.
All right. So
I
thank
already
you
gave
very
you
much.
access.
Thank you, Tomiwa.
Okay, good evening. Good evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
good evening to you.
Good evening.
Okay, my question is, although I joined late, so I didn't really know what happened earlier. So my question is, I've done my beginner stage, but the
Trading.
confidence is not much there like that. So I need back-to-back projects to keep my confidence firm and be able to stand on my feet properly. I hope
All right.
Amdari will be able to assist for this.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I always recommend, all right, go to our Amdari platform and then sign up. Then I want you have access to free 6 projects. I want you to work on those projects. You know, when you experience something or when you have hands-on, right, you'll be more convinced. All right, you'll be more convinced. I want you to go to the Amdari platform now, then sign up, just sign up as a beginner and then work on the project, then come back to give me feedback specifically. Okay, because this is the problem that we are so focused and tailored towards at Amdari. We don't teach you the basics. No, we don't do that. You have learned the basics. It's just you coming to work on the projects that we offer and you becoming what? Technically proficient. So do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Abiola, I hope that answers.
Sorry once again. Sorry once
Go on.
again. So,
Yeah.
in the process, if I have any problem doing the project or I need someone to assist or
Okay.
someone to come in, can I still come back to you people or I should sort it myself?
That's during your process with Amdari.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you can. And then again, if you can see on my slides, you have access to a year of reference letter. So it's just as if when you're applying for jobs and they need evidence, right? So you can come back in a year and then 2 years span. So for you to come back in a year and 2 years span, it means that there's also like a back and forth. You have access to get a back and forth communication with us. So it's not as if during the process of you working on projects we'll ghost you or abandon you. No, your portfolio is still on our profile. So it's always going to be there, even when we make, let's say, updates to the website and all of that. All right. So all you need to do is reach out to, you would have mentors, you would have coaches that you would interact with. All right. So I hope that answers that question. Okay. So that's for Abiola. So
Thank you
guys,
so much.
yeah, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Okay, Ahmed responded. Okay, so I would respond this particular to Abiola. I remember telling my instructor, I know Apache Kafka, but I don't know how to implement this in a live project. I can't even believe I did this project. Oh my goodness. My colleagues can testify to this. So guys, again, that is what we pride ourselves at Amdari. Trust me, that is our goal. Because naturally, you don't want to go through the process of having to sleep on YouTube, having to watch a lot of resources, having to look at code without a structured format of, oh, this is the problem that I'm trying to solve. This is the process. This is where I need to, let's say, do excitation and understand. All right. So guys, if we have no more questions, we'll be calling it a day. Again, I need you to fill the form in the chat. That gives you access to, let's say you want to have a clarity session, you need more information as regards, oh, what's the process? What do I do? I'm still unclear if I should stick with this particular career path. That is why we have this clarity session where you come on and then you speak to our professionals and we give you better recommendations. Okay, so guys, if we do not have more questions, I will be calling it a day, and I hope to see everyone during the onboarding session for the internship experience in January. All right, so cheers and have a lovely evening. All right, bye.
Bye.